Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode number 2 of our Respect, Values and Culture series. Well, in episode number 2, we're going to cover off on the establishment of Mainline's core values, along with their core values internal awards and how they are voted on. And Clive's also going to share with us how these values have contributed to the culture within the business. Now, not only that, but Mainline Autobody have created their own Mainline Autobody Hall of Fame. Yeah, now I know we have some industry Hall of Fame things going around, but how about our own Autobody Shop Hall of Fame? So well done to Mainline on that one. So where am I coming to you from today, you might be wondering? Well, I'm actually out in the middle of the soccer field, or the football field as they call it in Europe. Just getting a little bit of fresh air, beautiful bright sunny winter's day, and I thought I'd knock over this intro while I just stretched the legs a little bit. So thanks very much for the feedback on episode number 1. It's great to get those comments coming back through to us. We appreciate that greatly. And also thanks again to Mainline for allowing us to share what they do. So kick back, enjoy episode number 2, and I will see you at the introduction to episode number 3. Bye for now.
Absolutely. And let's move on now. And I'd like to share with everyone the Mainline Way core values. And Clive, could you share with us how these core values were established?
I certainly can. I'll go right back to the start with this. This is in the EOS model. You have 6 core components, and the stronger you get at each of those core components, then the stronger your company will be. They are vision, they are people, they are data, they are process, and then you have meetings, and then traction, where you actually put the rubber to the road. So the vision component is, does everyone in the company know why they turn up for work? Do they know where you're going? And do they know the sort of set of guiding principles that you operate by? So I'm actually going to start with the company focus for Mainline. Yes, we fix cars, and yes, we try to make a profit doing so. But that's not why we do it. That's not why we do all this stuff. That's just an outcome. That's a result. Our focus is building an exceptional company with outstanding people. And again, that's hard, to be exceptional. It can be another company, but to be exceptional, again, takes stamina, takes commitment, and it takes everyone pulling in the same direction. And we're fortunate enough to have a whole team of truly outstanding people that are here. And our niche, or niche, however you prefer to say that, late model auto body collision repair. That's what we do. That's what we stay laser focused on. We don't do rust restorations. We don't paint RVs and speedboats. That's not to say we haven't in the past, but we're wise enough to learn that that's not our sweet spot. That's not where we excel. So we just stick to late model auto body collision repair. So if we can all stay laser focused behind that, then things run a lot smoother. Everybody knows exactly what you're focused on. So let me get to the core values element. And you'll see there, clockwise, the Mainline Way, customers for life, extreme ownership, remember Scooter, and be like Betty. Now, when we roll out these core values to people for the first time, they kind of give you a little bit of a sideways look. Well, what are you guys talking about? How do you, when as I mentioned earlier, most people say honesty, integrity. Well, what does be like Betty and remember Scooter mean? Now, inside these 4 walls, that means everything. But, the exercise was locked in a room on an EOS session. The leadership team didn't look at each other and say, what do we admire about each other? And neither did we try to conjure up what the perfect employee looks like. The exercise was to think of the people back here on the shop floor and in the offices who are actually doing the work. And what is it about these great people that we have that we really admire? What attributes are they? What qualities are they? And we came up with a list of about 100. And then we grouped them down into like kind, so, positive and cheerful. They're like kind. And then came up with isms for them. A title where once you read out all these individual qualities, what does it put you in mind of? What does it put you in mind of? And it really was, anybody looking in from the outside must have wondered what was going on, because you had the leadership team sat around the table, literally eyes closed, and our implementer was reading out these qualities and just asked, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? So when he was reading out clean and organized, efficient, continuous improvement, innovative, 2-second lean, teaches others, one team, one plan, one goal, one mainline. What came out of that? And we just said, well, we obviously plagiarized the Toyota way. We said, that sounds like the mainline way. So that's how that came about. Customers for life, that's a little bit of, again, plagiarism. I don't think Joe's ever claimed to be original and innovative in that sense, but man, does he lead the charge and put things into action. So this came out of Carl Sewell's book, Customers for Life, from Sewell Cadillac. The essence of that being that, man, we don't want a customer once. We want to see them every single time. We want to see their friends and their family. It's more than just a one-time deal. So to really deliver on customers for life, it means under promise and over deliver. Fix it like it's your mum's car. Fix it once, fix it right. Everything they deserve and more, and develop lifelong relationships. So that's a real pillar of who we are. That is one of our core values. Extreme ownership, borrowed from Jocko Willink, that book. So that's can always be counted on. Find a way attitude, committed to excellence, makes tough decisions, takes pride in work, overcomes obstacles, solution-oriented, disciplined, and results-driven. Again, very similar, but the overarching theme is extreme ownership. Take responsibility. Remember Scooter. When we were presented with qualities like loyal, responsible, dedicated, inspires trust, resilient, inquisitive, makes work fun, and devoted, I think I remember saying, man, that just sounds like a loyal dog, man's best friend. And sure enough, I mean, Joe tells the story far better than I can, but in his old mainline shop down in Lompoc here on the Central Coast, he had a shop dog called Scooter, and that thing meant the world to him, and there was a real character there. So, when it came to, well, that sounds like a man's best friend, who better than let's remember Scooter, when we think of those qualities. And then finally, be like Betty, works for the greater good, puts others first, encourages others, positive, cheerful, caring and helpful, and humble. That is, it just sounded like someone's mum. I think Bernie said that. It sounds like someone's mum. And we went, well, it sounds like Betty Hinkins, Joe's mum, because she would come into the front office and she would be like that, just super cheerful, happy, always joking. She was a real firecracker. And Joe was kind of resistant when we said, be like Betty, remember Scooter. He said, I don't want to make this all about me. And we said, well, unlucky Joe, all of this stuff is the fiber of the mainline fabric, like it or not. So why not celebrate it? And that's how we got our core values. And I'm pleased to say that it doesn't just go up on the wall or on a screen behind me and just live there. We talk about this stuff all the time. We really do. And we hire people based on how we can assess. Difficult to do just through a couple of initial interviews, but we try to get a real good feel as to how well they are going to resonate with our core values. And I'll give away a little trade secret here. I'm actually looking at body language and at reactions at that point. If you've got people who are leaning in and smiling and nodding their head when you explain this, it probably resonates with them. If they lean back in their chair and give you a slightly crazy look, probably not going to be the place for them, and that's okay. That's okay. So this is really, really meaningful in our world.
That's a great explanation. And as you said, Joe didn't want to make it about him. But at the end of the day, Joe Hinkins is the founder of Mainline Autobody, and he has instilled the way. And it is something that he should be celebrating and be proud of. And I just love the way that it flows. Like, remember Scooter, your loyal dog scenario. I've got two huskies here at home, and they are exactly that. It's just that I've heard it said that if you have a dog in your life, it can put an extra 5 to 10 years on your longevity.
Well, I've got a 4-month-old puppy, and I'm not so sure. I wonder where my old life went. I'm joking, of course.
Maybe you've got to wait a little bit longer till they get over that. Look, I've got a 20-day-old son, so maybe there's something happening there in the same vein. But no, that's really exceptional. That, and as you say, they're not just up on the wall; they're spoken about all the time. And how long did it take to go through that exercise?
How long did it take? Well, the EOS program is set up such that you have every year, and obviously COVID has thrown a wrench in the works, so I'll make no secret of that. Every year you have a 2-day annual off-site meeting with your leadership team, where you are focused on making sure that the vision is clear. Where do you want to go? Even if they're BHAGs, as they say, the big, hairy, audacious goals. You look at that out in 10 years' time and you go, well, where do we want to be in 10 years' time? Well, okay, so that's where we want to be. Where do we need to be in 3 years to start making progress? And then you dial it back from there. Where do we need to be in 1 year? And then you go back from there. Well, what do we really need to tackle in the next 3 months, the next 90 days to start moving the ball down the field to the end goal? So it breaks it down in that way. So this was put together during one of our 2-day annual sessions. And it probably took us around about 3 hours to really go through this exercise of what are all the qualities, and then get some grouping together. And then we lived with it for, I think it was a month or 6 weeks, just to see if it really didn't capture everything that we wanted. And then a little bit of fine tweaking. So it wasn't a long time. But, in hindsight, I just think what a brilliant process. What an amazing journey that was. And more importantly, how well we nailed it, because this stuff really is meaningful. It resonates throughout this whole place. So, I'd recommend it to anyone. But once you've decided on this, you've then got to walk the talk.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And that leads us to your core values awards.
Yep.
So share with us the awards and how you roll the awards out and what it takes to earn that award.
Yeah. So again, the EOS model is that every quarter, every 90 days, human nature dictates that people just fall off the rails a bit, not through any ill meaning or any kind of malice, or because they're not singing from the same hymn sheet anymore, but it's just human nature. The 90 days, things get a little bit frayed, so you just need that little nudge just to make sure we're all on the same page and heading in the same direction. So we do that, and again, that meeting takes place off-site. You got to get out of the distractions of the daily workplace. And so we discuss at the quarterly meeting where we're at, where we've been, where we got to go, what are the major priorities for the next 90 days. Then we come back to base, and the way we do it here, we have a catered lunch. Everyone from the shop attends. We close the door for an hour and a half. And we just share with everybody where we've been. It's a recap of the previous 90 days, where we've been, where we're at now, and then obviously where we're going. And we share that so that people are completely in the picture and they can help put their shoulder to the flywheel, and get us to where we want to go. So that's important. And then coupled onto that, we have these core value awards, and those are chosen. It's peer chosen. It's not who do management or leadership think deserves a mention. It's not that. Everyone on the floor gets an anonymous vote. They're completely free to nominate whoever they like. And it's based around, who has been like Betty over the last 3 months, who's remembered Scooter over the last 3 months, who's been that kind of thing, who stepped up with some extreme ownership. So there's no right or wrong answers. It's just, who do you feel deserves some recognition for that? And we hand out these certificates and awards and have a bit of lunch. And it's important. It's important in the daily grind just to take a little time now and then to recognize the great contributions that people make.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way that you have put that together. And if we go to our next slide, we can see some of the award winners there.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good. We have fun. It's supposed to be fun, Work is serious, but this is fun. And we see it takes it. As I say, it means things. It matters to us, So, but it's just a little break from the day to day, and it's great when we share these things. And one of the guys who won, remember Scooter for the third time, he actually came up to me afterwards and said, I looked down this certificate at all the qualities that are on there: loyal, and dedicated, and makes work fun. And he said, it's so good to know that people think of me that way. And that's brilliant. What a great feeling that is. So any chance we get to that. So we haven't missed one since we started doing this. I think it was around March last year. So we've done 6 of them now, and they bring so much value.
That's awesome feedback from that particular employee. And I've just brought up our next slide now, and we've actually got a Hall of Fame for the awards, and that's really cool too. I like that. And it goes back to March 20th when you implement that, March in 2020, and you do it every
That's
quarter.
right, and those are on display boards around the shop, out on the production floor, and also in the front lobby. So if guests are sat there watching, it's just obviously there's the 5 different slides for each core value, and there's just the Hall of Fame, just to, so that it's not just a moment in time. It's not just that lunch, they go down in history.
You're going down in history. Yeah. And how has it affected the individuals? Do you believe that by creating this respect model and the core values and living and breathing those values every day at work, do you feel that it's had a positive effect on their work, on their life outside of work?
So that's a great question, Gavin. Well, obviously we would like to think so, but those are quite lofty thoughts. What I can share with you is that we had a paint team meeting this morning, and one of the new guys who's been with us now for a couple of months, he shared that he says he just loves working at this place. He loves the fact that he's now just been through his first core value awards and state of the company address last week. And he shared with me, man, this place is having a really positive effect on him. He loves turning up to work. He loves being part of the team. He says he's had some struggles in his life, and he's seeing the effect of being surrounded by committed, positive, helpful people on this team. That's feeding into his personal life. So, it could be a little bit presumptuous of us to possibly consider it could feed into that, but it appears like it is. And that's probably one of the greatest bits of feedback I've heard in a while, that it can actually do that. It's amazing, very humbling.
And it's been proven as well over time that if you continue to do these things and you create repetition, it's like the 3 C's of management. You need to create it, be clear about it, and be consistent with its delivery. And this type of cultural stability and cultural inclusion that you've built there at Mainline ultimately will be impacting individuals internally wherever they are, because there'll be some point there where they'll have a reflection on what extreme ownership means in their personal life, what it means like to remember Scooter in their personal life, what it means like to be like Betty. It's basically, I look at it from that perspective because I know what it does for me. And if I'm working on things
I know what it does for me too, Gavin. There's no question of that. You know, that core value, extreme ownership, and the book, I remember the profound effect it had on me on a personal basis, you know.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it is more about, it is a bit bigger picture than just the work world. You're right. What this also does for us, it gives us a very clear lens through which we can make decisions and drive some actions. You know, if we make decisions that are in line with our company focus of being an exceptional company with outstanding people, and in line with our niche of the late model auto body collision repair, and particularly in line with these core values, if we make decisions with all that in mind, we won't go far wrong. We just won't. So it's a really, really good lens for every situation that we're faced with. And now that's not just from a leadership perspective as well. Anyone out on the production floor in the data cut and thrust, you know, you have good days and you have bad days. And if someone's a little bit out of line, people don't have to think, how am I going to tackle this? All they got to do is look at the core values, and it gives them the answers right there. You know, so it's not in line with be like Betty, whatever it may be. And it may sound a little bit trite, I guess, in some respects, but it's very, very powerful and very effective, and it helps everybody see clearly.
Exactly. And we have a similar thing here in our office, and we work it from this perspective here. And I'll just share with you a little bit of what ours is here. And we work from a different perspective, because I've done a lot of work through, and I have a lot of belief in a gentleman by the name of Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the book called The Four Agreements. And we turn that into what we call a workplace agreements. And it starts with be impeccable with your word. And we say it, do it, no excuses. And then we lead on to an agreed goal. Set 3 achievable tasks and share these with each other on a daily basis. And then our number 2 workplace agreement is don't take things personally. So from that, we've embellished that by putting in our own terminology, which is speak your mind respectfully, hold each other to account. When interacting with others, listen first, listen second, and breathe.
Yep.
So be in that space. Give that person space. Our number 3 one is we don't make assumptions. So to clear the pathway with an open communicative approach. And then question to find resolution. And number 4 is always do your best. And from that we mean be mindful of the power of always doing your best regardless of how you may be feeling. And then from there, encourage and congratulate achievements. Now, a couple of other little things that we've put on there is that we talk about in a meeting, and we use this as our meeting agenda, is wherever you are, be there. And that comes down to, can you be anywhere other than where you are right now? No. So why not be there?
No matter where you are, there you are.
So be there. Quite simple. Yep. And I leave that as much as I can through every day in life. The next one is minimize interrupts. So think about, and we question each other on that, how are we going in relation to minimizing interrupts? How would you rate yourself this week on a 1 to 10 on that? I think I'm a 7. I did have some interrupt there, but I think I've worked out what I need to do to put that to bed.
Yeah.
Then the next one is stick with our intention. So we're continually holding each other accountable to stick to our intention. And then look for the positive solution in everything. That's a big one that shows up for us. And then the next big thing that's very, very valuable to us is, what are we giving to our customers, our prospects, our industry, our colleagues, each other? And then to close it off, the last statement is, give to give and give freely. And that's the drivers from behind our business. It's similar to what you've set up there in relation to your core values and what are the drivers and the fundamental beliefs that trigger the Mainline way. Yeah. And we've built that on the Planning Plus way, and the I love to do my coaching and consulting, and I love to run my podcast 100 Breaths, which is about life and experiences of life and being able to help people with certain things. And they're the fundamental drivers for us. And we know that we know what we do, because we do what we do, but it's what's important to us about why we do it and what we are doing, and what are the outcomes that we'd like for humanity and for ourselves and for obviously the business and things are about. You've got to be able to generate profit. We understand that. So that's, I just thought I'd share that from the perspective of another way to build culture and look at your values.
For sure. I mean, there's a lot of parallels, Gavin, unsurprisingly. Yeah.